Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Victor.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Olivia. 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 Olivia.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I dreamt I had a soul to keep, and if I die before I wake, will that dream just go on for its own sake?
Getting some kind of like carpal tunnel thing.
No.
Or something adjacent to it.
From what?
I don't know. It's in my left hand. I've been writing a lot.
Are you left-handed? You're left-handed, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm right-handed.
Oh, okay.
I drove up for Easter to my aunt's house about an hour away, and I noticed it getting really bad in the car because I drive with my left hand and I have highway anxiety, so I just death grip the steering wheel.
That could be it.
Yeah.
And then I've been, just doing a lot of writing. And then today I started a work from home job where I'm on the computer all day. So I have been hunched over a keyboard even more today.
That'll kill you. It's killing me.
Yeah, I bet you, do you do any kind of like exercises or stretches?
No, it's just killing him.
I should.
It's just killing it. Have you had any kind of carpal tunnel like? Because you also play guitar and like you do, I feel like you do a lot of stuff with your hands.
Sometimes I've gotten some like weird tension stuff, but it usually goes away on its own. I haven't had like persistent problems.
It feels tingly all the time.
Yeah, that's no good.
How have you guys been?
I went to the hospital
Oh,
today.
yeah.
For carpal tunnel?
No, I woke up like really dizzy. Like I was just dizzy all morning. Which
For
I'm
like
not,
hours.
Yeah, which I'm not usually a dizzy guy. I'm not like one of those dizzy. I know people are always talking about the dizzy guys.
Yeah, dizzy fellows.
Dizzy fellows, right? Yeah, but that's not me. I'm not a dizzy guy. So yeah, I was just like really.
So he was like, I'm fine. And I was like, no, you're not. We're going to urgent care.
That's true. Yeah, no, I was just like felt really dizzy and kind of lightheaded for the whole morning, and like probably first half of the day, and just kind of slowly got better. But I went in and they said it was most likely like a thing with my inner ear. It's like
Vertigo.
If something gets disrupted in there, it causes vertigo because that's like where your sense of balance is coming from.
Somebody shoot a gun next to your head recently, or?
No, I guess I can just get messed up. I don't know.
Yeah, the doctor said there are crystal balls in your ear.
Yeah.
That
Crystal
rattle
balls.
around.
Yeah.
That is what he said.
That's how he described it. And then I looked it up and I saw a YouTube video that was like, this is a liquid tube in your head. Sometimes crystals get trapped inside the tube. I was like, what are the crystals coming from?
Quartz.
Maybe that's where dreams go.
Maybe. You got crystals rattling around in your head.
I've been having like really weird dream stuff happen to me. Like since that first lucid dream, I've just been having like strange dream phenomenon, dream mechanic stuff, one thing after the other.
Like leveled up.
The baby in the bathtub lucid dream.
Yeah, that like I don't know what that did to my brain, but I'm having like weird stuff happening.
Knocks your dream crystals loose.
Yeah, my dream crystals are all over the place.
Victor's too, but it just made him dizzy.
Yeah.
Gotta learn to harness the power of the crystals.
It sounds like that's one area where our anxiety diverges, Victor, because I'm not as bad now, but I used to be a major hypochondriac.
Mm-hmm.
And with I had tingly hands, and I ran through every, like, I was polio, West Nile. I was like, I was sure I was dying before Shelby was like, why don't you Google it? And I was like, if I Google it, then I'll go even deeper down the rabbit hole. And after 2 seconds, I was like, oh, it's carpal tunnel.
No, Victor doesn't go to the doctor. He's one of those.
You got to just accept death.
That's the thing. I was on our way to urgent care. I was like, I didn't marry a conventional man. You can't be like this.
Conventional man. I didn't want the standard model. Yeah, no, that's pretty universal. Because despite my hypochondria, I never go to the doctor for it. I just sit at home and panic.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I wish I could be like
I don't
you,
like
though,
going
and-
to the doctor, but if I have a problem, like, that's where you go.
You lost me.
Okay.
I don't understand. Maybe I'm afraid that I'll be right about polio.
That you think you have polio?
No, it crossed my mind this morning when I was because when
Because of the
I'm on
carpal tunnel?
when I'm on like a real bad hypochondria tear, I started thinking of diseases that I don't know what they are.
Oh, so
and
it's
I'm
like
maybe
I don't
it's
know
that.
enough about polio to
You are
know it's not polio.
Probably vaccinated for polio.
Maybe what if the vaccine gave me tingly hands?
Yeah, you're beyond help.
No, I've had a lot of CBT. I identify those hypochondria thoughts. I recognize them and I let them go. But they live there though. I see them when they fly by. They're like, maybe you have the rickets.
A lot of CBT, a lot of Corona, Budweiser, Tito's vodka.
What?
Yeah.
That took me a minute.
Party.
I was like, what?
Oh, I thought you meant coronavirus.
What? No.
Well, that's what the first thing you listed, and so I was confused for the rest of them.
Okay.
I didn't get that you were naming that those started with the same letters.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So I thought where you're going with that was like cool beer therapy or something.
I spent like a while working that out in my
And
head, so
we
I'm sorry
flopped
that
for
it
both of
didn't
us.
land like that. Man,
Cool booze.
I gotta spend even more time thinking about my jokes before I say it.
Let's workshop these. But yeah, Olivia, do you have examples of like,
Yeah, like I've been having some like new kinds of disjunctive cognition where like for listeners who don't know, that's like where you're like, oh, it was my house, but it was also like a bathroom, or
that
it was
classic move?
yeah, or like I had a dream about Victor, but he was a dog, but he was Victor, or whatever, where it's like multiple things at the same time. I had this dream where like social interactions were food. Like I had this argument with a woman in a movie theater, and the argument itself was pickles, and like it was represented by pickles, and there were pickles everywhere, and the more the argument escalated, the more it was pickles, and like pickle juice started raining from the ceiling, but I
What?
knew that it was not actually pickles, it was the argument. So
But was the argument about something else? Was it like yay
it
or
had
nay
nothing
pickles?
had nothing to do with pickles at all. She was telling me to be quiet in the movie theater.
Oh, okay, so it did concretely have to do with something else.
Yeah, no, it was a real interaction. It was like a normal kind of interaction, but like the first time she said something to me, like a jar of pickles was floating above her head, and then like as I was increasingly getting angry with her, I was like eating pickle spears, and I think they were spicy pickles, and I don't know, they're just like there were more and more pickles, and then at the end there was like kind of a reconciliation scene, and there was pickle juice like seeping from the ceiling. And then I had another dream like separately. I don't know if it was the same, if it was connected or not, but I had another dream that was like there, I can't remember this one very well, but there was like a story about like some kind of like brotherly love situation, like the brothers who like had like were reconnecting or something, but it was a cheeseburger. Their reconnection was a cheeseburger. Like,
Well, these sound like experimental films that I would have seen in college.
yeah,
Where they're
yeah, it
like,
was kind of like that.
it's symbolism, man. The pickles are the argument.
Oh, so you pick up on that right away, but my CBT joke just flies overhead.
She spelled it out. Your
Yeah.
joke was a little cerebral. To dream of pickles represents qualities of liking something more than you usually do, in moderation and not overindulging,
See, I was overindulging in the pickles.
or overindulging in the argument.
Both. They were the same thing.
Were you enjoying the argument?
Kind of. No, I don't know if I was enjoying the argument, but I was like, I could have like let it go, and I didn't. Like I kept kind of pushing back on her, because like she was being in my opinion, rude.
Weren't you the one talking in the theater?
No, well, so yes, but like we had just sat down and the movie had like literally just started and I was finishing a sentence and she turned around and was like, shut up.
One of those.
Yeah. And I was like, let's.
I don't know if you wanted to try to interpret this. I just had to know what pickles meant.
I have a more interesting dream to interpret, but I also wanted to let like you have one if you have one, because we've done me a few times in a row now.
I don't have one that I'm dying to do. I could flip through my journal here, but I feel like if you have ones that you are excited to do, then there's no point in me forcing it.
I just have some really interesting ones. Like I have ones that I want to tell that I don't necessarily want to be the one that we interpret, but like I don't want to skip over them.
Just story time. Because
like interesting stuff is happening in my dreams lately. Like I'll tell this other one, just I don't know which one we'll end up getting into, but I had another dream where like, so I had like kind of just gotten back to sleep, I think, after feeding Violet. And so I was kind of
in real life.
Yes. But I was having like a sleep paralysis kind of feeling in my body while I was entering this dream. I was kind of like stumbling through like an office building. It was dark and like I think I was like mumbling in gibberish. I kind of felt like a zombie a little bit. But like when I came outside of this office building, I was like, oh, I'm lucid. I'm gonna fly to Seattle from where I am. Like I knew I was facing west, and so I was gonna like start flying and go. So I like started doing that, and then I quickly realized that like, oh, I should have hit the lake by now. And there was just forest below me. And then I heard, it was like everything was dead silent except for just a voice saying my name. It was like very creepy, and I don't know whose voice it was, but it was just like Olivia, Olivia, Olivia over and over again. And it was coming from behind me, like where I came from. So I turned around and started going back that way. And when I reached the area that I had like taken off from, there was right in front of me, there was like a path going from from left to right into the forest. And then there was like forest behind the path. And the voice was coming from in the forest. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not going there. And on the path, there were children like running into the forest. And so I followed them. I was flying above them. And there's this part in the middle that I don't remember very well, but I got kind of like stuck in this gated area. But there was like a thorn, like from a plant that I don't remember exactly what was happening with it, but it comes into play later. So it was important in that moment. And then I got out and I kept following the path, and I see the children ahead, and I think they're doing a dance. But when I reach them, I realize that they're not doing a dance. They're like murdering each other with arrows. Like there's like a group of children, and they're like stabbing two other kids with arrows. And there's maybe a couple of adults that are like watching this happen. And then I say, fuck that. And so I wake up, but I don't really wake up. I wake up from that dream into another dream where I'm like waking up in bed with Victor, and I'm in a dorm room, which is something that keeps happening. I keep dreaming about dorm rooms for some reason. I'm in a dorm room, and Victor is next to me, and he wakes up and he says, oh, we just had the same lucid dream. And he starts talking about the thorn in that one part of the dream. And I got really excited about that. And then the rest of the details that he listed were kind of different from my dream. So I don't know. But anyway.
Weird that I had a similar dream a few episodes ago. Remember where I was at a dorm and I thought I was tandem dreaming with Shelby? Oh
yeah, that's right.
I don't remember what we had to say about that, but that could be colleges are like they represent like development and
Yeah, this is the third dormitory dream I've had in the last like couple of weeks that we've done on the podcast.
Yeah, we've typically correlated it to like,
I think it has to do with it. Victor's got it pulled up.
To dream of a dorm represents common problems with others.
Like social stuff.
Your problems, anxieties, or ideas are out in the open. It may also reflect a lack of privacy while experiencing problems or anxiety issues. Problems that are out in the open or obvious to others, sharing the same problem as others.
maybe I'm thinking of school.
Yeah.
Where like the level of school reflects the complexity of the problem that you're growing through.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. It was a dream within a dream. It was a lucid dream within a dream.
Yeah, I needed like a map to follow that dream.
Yeah. So I wonder if like Zach, if you're dreaming of having a shared dream with Shelby in a dorm, and Olivia, if you're having that dream of me, I wonder if that's stuff that you guys, if it's like about a problem that you perceive as shared with the person that you're having the like shared dream experience with, right? So it's like that dream means something. And then you're connecting the dots with like, I have this problem in common with this other person.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Don't know what to make of that, but yeah, that's something.
Or if everybody in your dream is you, well, never mind. That's I think that leads back to the same place.
Well, I think this is what we've talked about. We talked about this maybe last episode or the one before, Victor, where like this thing that we have correlated the dormitory with in my life, where it's like, I feel like I'm like working through like some social problems that I have always had.
Did it have to do with like putting on airs and like being not yourself? That problem?
Yeah. Yes, that's the problem that I think the dormitory represents for me. And Victor, we did talk about how you relate to that.
Yeah,
as
no,
well,
we
so.
talk about how we both do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is interesting that like, it was interesting that the thorn was like maybe the only thing that we had in common. Like you immediately woke up and said like, oh, we had the same dream. Like it was like you knew that I was there too. But then like when you started listing the other things that happened in it, it was like it started getting more and more different from what I had experienced.
Well, that's interesting because that could mean like that our experience overlaps in that area, but maybe not in others, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like thorn. To dream of thorns represents pain or suffering for something you care about, sacrificing for love or positivity, hurting yourself for a good cause or something more important than yourself. Thorns may also reflect offenses that are being put up to defend righteousness, love, or something beautiful, a symbol for martyring yourself, painful burdens, a painful sacrifice of happiness, repeated distress, feeling that something is dangerous to get involved with or access, suffering endured to maintain a dangerous opinion or position in life.
Kind of how some people feel about parenthood. Like it's a huge sacrifice of a lot of other stuff, but it's totally worth it for this like profoundly beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you were reading it, it did make me think of parenthood. But
made me think of like social obligation.
Yeah,
like,
that's the other thing I thought of.
Yeah, that's a thing that we're usually like kind of in the same boat about like we feel like, well, we have to do this thing for this person because we care about them, or we have to go such and such, right? And we're both like kind of dragging ourselves sometimes through things like that, and have kind of different approaches to it, but the same feeling of like an obligation to like make ourselves like a little less happy to please other people when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, we do have like, that's actually very true, is that we have that in common, but we, I think, react to it very differently, or like maybe are in different places with it now.
How do you think you react to it differently? Or what are the two different approaches?
I have more of like a grin and bear it approach to stuff, where it's like, we're going to go in there, we're going to try to have a good time. I
have a frown and bear it attitude. I'm in there like rolling my eyes and being like, I'm going to go sit in the other room.
I'm going to hang out with the dog.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I ask because I've been listening and like trying to relate this to my dormitory dream with Shelby and like what would because we're very different. I'm much more like you guys and she's like an extrovert. And so I'm wondering like what social issue or problem do I see us being potentially? Do I see us being on the same side of?
Yeah, do you remember what was going on in that dream that where you felt like there was a shared experience with Shelby?
You guys were like waiting outside of like was it like a frat party or something?
Yeah.
Like a college party. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't remember, maybe like she wanted to go back inside and I was like, no, let's explore the dream. We're lucid dreaming together. But it wasn't like a major source of contention or anything. I just remember waking up really excited. I'm like excited to ask her if I was like, did you dream about a dorm last night? Because I was hoping we were really tandem dreaming.
Some people say they really experienced that. I don't really know what to make of it, But
we had it happen in our like third episode.
Yeah.
Oh, where Olivia dreamt about being in your dream after.
We like both we had a dream on the same night about each other that like ended in a classroom.
Yeah.
And there was like a kind of a creepy like point of view shot kind of thing happening at the end.
Yeah, there were a lot of similarities. It was weird.
Yeah. It was very strange.
Yeah. That rings a bell, but I don't remember the details.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, and it was so early on too. I was like, oh, this is going to happen every time. This is going to be such a cool mystical podcast. And then it's just me talking about jerking off.
You don't
No,
talk
okay.
about that quite as much, but
I
yeah,
haven't
there
had-
was a long period of that.
Well, I haven't had a dream about it. I wasn't just talking about it for the hell of talking about it. I wasn't just showing off. It was pertinent to my dreams, but no, I haven't had a dream like that in a long time. Oh wait, no, I did the other night. But we don't have to get into it.
All right, go ahead.
I don't
Let's hear
remember. I just remember it was one of those like I had to get it done and I couldn't find a place.
Maybe that is like just one of those recurring things that you dream about a lot, but it's just kind of taking a back seat. So you're just always jerking off in the background.
I think I had that. I was when I drove up north for Easter, I stayed at my dad's place, and I think I had the dream that night, which makes sense because I was with family, and it feels like a regressive sort of like lack of independence dream or lack of privacy
Yeah.
dream. Feels pretty cut and dry.
We're gonna start tandem dreaming, but it's just gonna be you like jerking off in the corner of our dreams.
Well, I never do it. And I'm looking for a place to do it, and I can't find anywhere so I'll be in your
doing it
dream.
in our dreams.
Right. You're gonna sneak into our dreams to get away from all the attention in your dreams.
And then I'm gonna like run into you guys and be like, oh, God, hey guys, how's it going? I notice your bathroom doesn't have a door.
Oh, I had one of those recently where it was like a fucked up, like no privacy bathroom dream. And it was like everyone was watching me like trying to pee on this toilet that
I feel like that's
I
very
was
similar.
falling into, and it was tipping all over the place. And then when I was done, I had like immediately like got into the crowd and watched someone else do it. It was like that's what you had to do, and
It's like
you
a
just kind of had
game
to
show.
support them.
Everyone gets a turn on the throne. Anyway, I feel like I sidetracked this. We were talking about the thorns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, is that where we were when I?
Yeah. I don't think we had much of a track to go on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like just the other day we did our first like big like family get together with Violet, and it was a little like freaked us out a little bit because it's like, oh man, everybody's here. Like it's a lot of like people swarming around wanting to see the baby, and like we're worried about her getting sick and stuff. And it's like it gave us both some anxiety, and then we process it differently.
Yeah, like literally one person, one family member showed up and was like, "Oh, I'm not hugging today," which was like, "Oh my God, what are we doing here?" Which is boomer code for I feel sick, but
Right.
I didn't want to not come.
I feel sick, but I want plausible deniability that you can't prove I think I'm sick.
Yeah,
So I'm staying.
yeah. And like someone was like coughing into their hands and then touching the baby's hands, which immediately go into her mouth. So I'm like in and out of the bathroom washing the baby's hands like a crazy person. Can we just have like a normal amount of careful, please?
Yeah.
We probably sound crazy, but it's like, yeah, when you have like a young baby, like any kind of sickness is, you can end up in the hospital really easily.
Right.
So.
And it's like, we know she's going to get sick and like it's going to be fine, but it doesn't mean that that's not going to derail our entire week.
Yeah,
like
if not
if
longer.
she gets sick, it's going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, she's going to get sick, but like we would love to avoid it if we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like just because she's going to get sick doesn't mean we have to like actively try to get her sick.
Yeah, that would be cool if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But just stuff like that. Just like, we're doing this, like we want to do it. We love these people, but also, oh my God.
Yeah, there's part of me that's like the boomer part of me that's like, oh, but that's how you got to get antibodies. Like you got to get sick. But then there's the part of me that I was just talking from, the hypochondriac, that would be taking her to the hospital every other day if she was my baby.
Yeah.
Because she sneezed or like made a funny face.
There's like there are things there are like viruses like RSV that like adults can have and maybe not even really know they have. Like if they even notice they're sick, it's really mild. And that is like full on, your baby has to go to the hospital, like not us being over careful, but like babies ending up in the hospital having like really serious health problems. Yeah, it's just like a really vulnerable time because they don't really have an immune system yet.
Yeah. And we waited 3 months to like do a family gathering for that reason, because she was born in the middle of virus season. So like we're like, okay, we'll give her immune system just like a little more time to cook in like a safe pathogen free environment.
Yeah. And then start testing it and making it stronger.
Right. But it's like if you're sick, don't come, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not work. You don't have to prove anything.
Yeah.
It is a good viewpoint to see the world as a dream.
Did you have a dream that you wanted to share and interpret, Liv?
I don't know.
Or do you want to keep unpacking this multi-layer burrito?
Seems like you wanted to throw this one out there and then
I just thought,
skate on past it.
Well, like I thought it was interesting that it was like a dream within a dream.
But like
I don't know.
The murdered children are real interesting.
Yeah, there were
Stabbing
some
each other with
murdered
arrows.
children. Yeah.
And I feel like you had a dream like that in the past, didn't you? On another, you had like kind of a similar dream, but instead of it was like children doing a play on a beach.
I was just gonna say it did remind me of that dream. Now that you say that, it did remind me of like the same kind of thing when I was like walking up from a distance and seeing them all. They were kind of dressed the same, and like I thought they were doing a performance or like a ritual of some sort.
But it was more sinister, right?
This time, yeah.
This time.
For our listeners, and definitely not me, because I definitely remember what you're talking about. Do you want to maybe explain?
That dream was the one where I was like, there was like a new secret beach, and we were going there, and
Nude?
New. It was a new beach that we had not been to before. It was a nude beach that we hadn't been to before. But I did get naked in this dream, actually, now that you mention it.
So both.
So yeah, no, but like on the way there was like a bunch of snakes in the water that like said something to me. I can't remember exactly. But basically the gist of it was that like once you get there, you don't go back. And there were a bunch of children on this beach. Do you
remember what the interpretation was? Or what it boiled down to, like what it was kind of about?
Probably parenthood. Yeah. I mean, I think I was pregnant during this dream and in the dream. Yeah, I think it was probably about like there's no going back.
Yeah, that was the thing, right?
No, that does ring a bell.
We couldn't return.
Yeah, I remember like being there and thinking,
oh
man,
yeah,
I'm
there's
not
no tiki masala here.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna get Indian food again.
Yeah, that's sometimes I wonder if that's why I am not experiencing like crazy developments in my dream life like you, because I'll remember the titles of episodes and my favorite joke from that episode or favorite exchange, but I don't necessarily remember or retain what I was supposed to have learned from it.
Yeah.
Feels like something I should work on.
I mean, what are we doing here, Zach?
But I listened to my own podcast and I'm like, that was insightful.
Good
For someone
him.
else.
what my friends just said to me. That was very insightful.
Hope some listener out there got something out of that.
Just having a parasocial relationship with yourself. Hang on, she might cry while I burp her.
Oh, sad baby.
Okay, we could dig into this one more, or I could tell you a third one.
Yeah, you're just dream dumping. You got no. You're
I just
not.
want to tell you guys.
You don't actually want to do any interpretation. You just.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like there's something here you want to unpack, or it was just like a series of cool disjunctive cognitions and lucid? It could be both.
I feel like if anything, this last one I might get more out of talking about. So I don't know. Is that weird? Should I not tell you the third one?
You can say the third one. Yeah.
Okay. I was just telling Victor this one, but like this is a reoccurring thing that happens in my dreams where like I dream about an ex a lot. And it's like it's usually that he and Victor are like merged into one thing, or like I'll like still like be in that relationship again or something, but I'll still have like the memory of everything that has actually happened since that relationship. So like I don't know why that happens a lot. That happens a lot though. And I don't feel like there's anything like unresolved about that relationship or anything. It was like
it's the same one every time.
Yeah, it's the same one. But it was like my longest relationship before this. So like and the last one before this. So like I don't know. But yeah, this dream I was sitting in like a fast food place with a friend that we recently went and visited, and we were eating and she was telling me that she and my ex, give me a name. Jason.
There we go.
That she and my ex Jason work together and that they deliver flowers together is what she said. And I started talking about him. Like I wasn't like really talking shit, but I started saying like, actually like all I really said was like, oh yeah, he's fine. Like he's fine. Like kind of in that tone. And pretty quickly I realized that Jason and Victor were sitting in the booth next to us and had like heard me, and like I was a little embarrassed that Jason heard me like talking shit about him or whatever. And so like I apologized. I was like, oh sorry, like, but actually I did mean that, like, you are kind of just fine. That's what I said to him. And he was like, yeah, that's fair. And he had Violet in this dream. He was like, he had her in a baby carrier, and it was not his baby. It was Victor's baby. And Victor was also there. Victor and Jason were like hanging out in this dream.
Oh, they were two separate people.
Yes. And this is the first time they've been like two separate people, actually.
Okay. Yeah. When you said Jason and Victor, I thought you meant like Jason/Victor.
No. Yeah. This time they were actually like hanging out with each other. Which, yeah, that is interesting. That's the first time that that's happened, I think. But he had Violet, and I like kind of like peeked into the baby carrier, and I was like, how's that little monkey? And he was like, she's fine. And that was the whole dream.
Weird.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of just like it's just weird that I still haven't like unpacked like exactly why I have those dreams a lot, because I like, again, like that relationship was like, it wasn't like super like tumultuous. Wow, I can't say that word. It wasn't like
tumultuous.
Yeah. Like, and I don't really have like a whole lot of hard feelings or whatever. Like, it's just kind of like whatever. Like, it's fine. It wasn't
like a terrible traumatic thing.
No, it wasn't. Like, it was long overdue, and I don't feel like there was like I don't feel like I was respected in that relationship, but like it's not a huge deal, and there's not like there's not a lot of intense feelings about it. It's like really like we were barely hanging out. Like there was not hardly any like emotional intimacy in that relationship. Like we were kind of like roommates for a really long time, which is why like, I don't know. It's just like interesting that I still dream about that person a lot, I guess.
Yeah, I know that dynamic where like towards the end, it sort of feel like they're talking to you like you're their brother or something.
Yeah.
To me, it makes a certain amount of sense that we're sometimes kind of merged into one in your dreams because we've been together almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And you were in that relationship for 7 years?
No, for like 5.5.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 7 years for some reason. Okay. And there wasn't like there's like 6 months in between or something like that. So it's like your last decade of dating has almost entirely been made up by him or me.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think it kind of speaks to like your adult relationship experiences is why we show up in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah. That does make sense.
Character could be representative of the concept of date. Yeah.
Yeah, that does kind of make sense. That would make sense that like, you and him are merged in for that purpose.
And I was going to say something along those lines that like, if your brain just needed to generate a face that roughly fit that character profile of like a boyfriend or a significant other or whatever, it would be very easy for a sleeping mind to generate one that you've seen that many times. But then I realized you were talking about him by name before you saw him.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was specifically talking about him. And in this dream, him and Victor were very distinctly separate.
And he had Violet, not Victor?
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't like super upset about that? You're just like, how's that monkey doing?
Yeah, like...
How's my little monkey bread?
Yeah, I wasn't like weirded out by that.
It was a diner?
It was like a fast food restaurant. Also, I thought it was interesting that the friend I was with said that she and Jason used to deliver flowers together.
Fast food represents situations that encourage you to care about nothing except feeling good, a quick thrill, enjoyment that lacks substance or deep emotion. It may also reflect casual sex. Negatively dreaming about fast food or junk food may reflect short-term enjoyment that may cost you in the long term. Preferring to feel good while intentionally neglecting or avoiding responsible behavior. It's funny because that's like that would make you think of like a casual relationship. But those were your two like long relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Flowers. To dream of flowers represents feelings about noticing sweet little babies that cry.
Okay.
Oh, there she goes.
Was that a fart?
That was a burp.
No, it was a burp.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it sounds more clearly like a burp on the mic. The way it came through Zoom, it totally sounded like she ripped one.
They kind of sound the same, honestly.
They're just mouth farts.
Burps is just mouth farts. Oh my goodness.
Which one were you reading?
Flowers are they're like appreciation, basically. Like represents feelings about noticing how positive, nice, or beautiful something is, appreciating how wonderful or good something in your life is, feeling love, appreciating other people. Negatively represents vanity, narcissism, or obsession with physical beauty. May also reflect appreciation of something lost in your life.
I would say that appreciation is the main thing that was lacking in that relationship.
Dan, could it have to do with your appreciation of your current situation? Like just reflecting on how blah things could be versus how...
I think about that like all the time. I feel like I don't even need to dream about that.
Yeah, some people go through life not realizing, like dodging a bullet doesn't actually have to look like a bullet.
Sure, yeah. And I think like, well, for sure, like that, I think the biggest thing, like, I don't know, that relationship, I spent like a long time in it when there was nothing left in it. And like a lot of people do that for like ever. Like a lot of people marry that person and like have kids with that person and are just kind of like blah, unhappy-ish forever.
Because it's not like not in your face bad,
Yeah.
but like the absence of bad isn't the presence of good.
Yeah. I mean, like, there were problems with that relationship, but like, it was, it wasn't like, nothing crazy was happening. We just like didn't hang out, and I didn't really like him at the end.
Yeah, I think people sometimes, like, whenever there's a breakup or whatever, we tend to be like, oh, well, one person, the person I'm closer to, they're a perfect innocent angel that never did anything wrong. And the other person is like a total narcissist, total sociopath, like just like totally like throwing like a lot of dehumanizing language at the other person. And then also just like saying everything they did was terrible. Like sometimes relationships are like that, but a lot of the time it's just like two people that
just not right for each other.
Just not right for each other. Just not mature enough to handle a real relationship or whatever.
Yeah. Or like a thing is just not working and like there's not like mutual respect, like it doesn't take a lot for that to erode like on both parts. Like if one person feels disrespected, like the other person's going to like stop respecting that person, and then like it just kind of,
and they might just be waiting for that, not realizing that they're waiting for that catalyst to change. Like that might have been the missing piece in Jason's maturity, was that breakup. Maybe that after that he was like, you know what, I should probably show more respect to the next one.
Yeah, we talk about that sometimes, about like, people are capable of change, but it's really hard to change when you're already in a relationship with somebody where you are a certain way and they're a certain way.
Even if your relationship is like good, it's really hard for people to change while they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just when you're in like a dynamic with somebody where like you have established ways of operating, is really, really hard to like start operating differently than you have been. And it's a lot easier to like, if you're a single person, to like implement those changes in new relationships and like in your life on your own.
Especially if you're having to reflect on the last one.
For sure, yeah.
With that dynamic that we were just describing, that sort of like it's not good, but it's not terrible either. It just sort of fizzles, stagnates, and you could easily stay there forever. That is sort of how I feel about fast food, actually. The Dream Bible was really focused on like dopamine spike, like quick hit sort of pleasure, which makes sense. It's like a sodium sugar bomb, fast food. But because I rarely ever eat it, I almost get like I know I'm gonna feel nauseous. I think it is more about convenience than and cheapness than I do about it's easy and it's on every corner.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I
have a much more passive attitude with fast food. I've never been like super excited to eat Taco Bell. It's just like, well, I have 10 minutes and $10, so fuck it. Yeah,
I have a similar feeling about it. I never like seek it out, and I don't particularly find it very satisfying. But it's like sustenance, and when it's the most convenient thing.
Taco Time in Seattle was the only one.
Taco Time is bomb.
That's the only one that I got like really excited, and I would go out of my way to eat there. I always felt pretty gross afterward, but that's part of the cost.
They used to call their tater tots Mexi fries. I think they changed it because that.
I hope so. There's a kind of similar thing in Colorado, or I mean, I think it's on the whole Midwest, maybe, or South. It doesn't matter. It's called Taco John's, and they have these little hash brown discs called potato olays. I'll go out of my way for Taco John's too. I guess I love fast food. Is what I'm saying.
You love a dopamine hit. You love a sugar salt bomb. Who doesn't?
Yeah, and they act like, well, it's there. I guess I have to eat it.
But yeah, I guess like I'm having too many dreams to feel like I can pick one that I want to focus on right now.
Yeah, you just want to share them.
Because there's like interesting stuff happening in them. I don't want to like I like to talk about them while they're fresh.
That's okay. This doesn't have to be, I mean, like we've said before, it's kind of unreasonable to expect to get to the bottom of a dream every week or every 2 weeks.
For sure.
Or even the top of a dream.
Or even the top of a dream. We got to a bunch of tops today.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with a dream dump,
Dream dump.
a dream catch up. We need to go back to weekly sods so you can get these all out.
Right.
And I need to start dreaming more. Victor and I
I
need
know.
to start dreaming more.
I need to step
Victor,
on the
you're
gas.
really slacking.
Do we have any, are there like drugs I can take? Or is there anything that I can
Probably.
Robitussin?
do? Oh, does that do the trick?
Ambien for sure gives you crazy dreams.
All right.
Does it?
But that's what I've heard.
Just get us score some Ambien on the street.
Probably especially if you don't need it.
I've only ever taken Ambien recreationally.
Yeah, I think I did that one time in college, but I don't remember. Of course, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Like I've only done that like one time. My friend has a prescription, but it's like very weird because like you'll just go about your night doing like kind of normal stuff, but then the
That's-
next
yeah, if
day
you're
when you
taking it
remember what you're
recreationally.
well, yeah, but I'm describing the feeling. It's like you'll do whatever kind of normally, and then you'll go to sleep, and then you'll wake up the next day, and everything you did while you were on Ambien, you recall it as if it were a dream. It like feels like a dream, remembering it.
Yeah, I
There's
think I've
that.
heard that it gives you crazy dreams from people who need it, like people with insomnia. So they take it and then lay down and actually go to sleep and have it's a flying baby.
I'm just trying to keep her from yelling.
By flying, I mean that she's holding the baby in the air. She's not throwing her around. Don't call
For
anyone.
listeners of this audio medium.
Yeah.
I feel like we burned fast and out on dreams. We're just like, here's all the dreams. Okay, we're done now. What do we talk about?
Fast food some more.
Are we all getting hungry? Is that what that is?
I feel like I'm still been staying up too late and sleeping in too late. I think that's part of why I haven't been remembering my dreams.
Mm-hmm. What's
But I have
keeping you up?
Writing. I've been getting in a groove where when everyone goes to bed, I get really productive, and then I don't want to go to sleep. And
Are
then I drink like 7 LaCroix back to back, and then I can't sleep because I have to keep peeing.
Oh man, you're going hard. Tossing back
Uh,
LaCroix like they're nothing.
They are nothing. They're water and bug spray.
Are you open to talking about what you're writing, or do you want to keep it to yourself for now?
I can't make music in this house, so I've just been writing as another means of creative expression.
I got kind of into it last week when I had a little time. I downloaded some beats packs or whatever, sample packs, and started trying to make some lo-fi music. It was
Logic?
fun. Yeah. I was just like throwing together stuff to make like what do they call it? Lo-fi hip hop kind of stuff. I don't know. It was fun. Just like totally different from what I usually my sad boy guitar music. I don't know.
Yeah, I could do something like that in this house where it's just in your headphones
Yeah.
and no one's hearing you play guitar and sing.
Yeah, it's just fun to shake up genre stuff too sometimes.
But yeah, I feel like I've been, from what little I remember, I feel like I'm still on the restaurant kick. Like I'm still dreaming of restaurants a lot.
Interesting. Do you remember like what you're doing in restaurants? Are you eating or are you like milling around or?
Yeah, eating. The last one I only remember a flash of, I was eating at a Golden Corral with my parents.
Hmm.
And there was a waitress who kept looking at me and they were like, "She likes you." And I was like, "Mom, I have a girlfriend."
Golden Corral. I've never been there.
Oh,
It's,
out.
Don't worry, honey. I'll take you on our anniversary.
He'll treat you.
I keep asking him to take me to Lobster Shack because I've never been.
Red
don't know what that
Lobster.
is.
You're talking about
Red Lobster.
Why do I keep calling it Lobster Shack?
I don't know.
Is
I have
that
no
the
idea.
place?
I truly don't know.
Are you mixing it up with Joe's Crab Shack?
Might be.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or we just got Shake Shack up here. Maybe that's
I genuinely like Red Lobster. They have
Yeah,
their
it's
cheddar
dope.
biscuits.
That's the thing, right? We gotta go in there. They were having like a crab thing. It's like, you love crab. We gotta go to Red Lobster.
I want to go somewhere where they dump a bag of crab onto the table and you eat it with
Oh,
your
yeah.
hands.
Boston
We have
style.
those.
I think of Pacific Northwest seafood as a little more civilized than New England, where I grew up.
Real salmon focused out here.
Mild mannered is maybe what I mean. It's not as like low tide kind of. Like when I grew up in New England, I remember eating at a lot of places where you were on the patio, but it just felt like you were on a pier, and then you ate out of like a lobster trap, and it was just like everything that comes in a shell that they boiled together. That's not how I think of like Seattle cuisine.
Yeah, we're not brave enough to live that way out here.
We didn't talk about the disembodied voice in the woods part of your dream.
We didn't talk about that. That was really creepy.
Yeah.
Who was that? Was that me? Was that my subconscious?
Was it Victor trying to wake you up?
No, it was something creepy.
Your subconscious has been speaking directly to you.
Yeah, you're getting too close to the veil. It's like trying to push you back.
Well, it's like telling her to engage more with her dream.
Oh, actually, that's exactly what happened. Because I walked out of that. Sorry. I mean, okay.
We're back in it.
We're back in it. Let's go. So I walked out of that office building and I was like, I'm lucid. I'm going to fly to Seattle. And so I like lifted off, started flying that direction. And what turned me back was a voice calling my name from the woods in that direction. So I turned around to follow the voice. And what it led me to was a little path where I was following children into the woods, and it took me that direction. But yeah, it like pulled me away from the I'm lucid, I can do whatever I want trajectory and took me back into the dream.
That's happened several times.
That's crazy.
Recently.
I didn't realize that, but I think that is what that was. And I was going to say earlier, like the voice, it did kind of sound like my voice, or like it sounded like the same voice. It's hard to explain. It's not really my voice, but it's like.
Do you think it was like your subconscious trying to keep you on track?
Yeah, I do. Now that you mention it, I definitely do think that's what that was.
Not like a dream entity separate from yourself.
You've been kind of describing it as if it's like your own subconscious talking directly to you.
That's what it feels like. It feels like it's the few times that's happened, it's been like I've been veering away from like the dream that was going to play out in front of me, and a voice like comes in over the PA system and like talks to me directly.
Yeah, didn't you have another one where you got really hung up on a task that was probably not an integral part of the dream, and so
yeah, like it happened a couple times. One time was when Victor had explosive diarrhea, and
oh yeah,
and it was like
in the dream this happened,
and it was like I needed to take him to the hospital, and I was like forcing that part to happen, but my dream voice came in and basically told me like, no, like you don't need to actually go there, like. What was important was that was what was going to happen next.
You're supposed to see your husband shit himself, but he's not actually in danger. You don't have to follow this up with like real world actions.
It was like the dream is over. Like you don't need to like try. I was like focused on like forcing the dream to go to the next stage, which was the hospital.
Which is so interesting that you're like the strength of your lucidity is starting to like butt heads with the subconscious. Yeah.
And then the other time was in a recent dream where like I kind of like lost Violet in the dream, but that was supposed to happen, and I got all hung up on like, oh, if I go back to my car, I can get her back.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, so I was like trying to get back to my car, and then the dream was like making it really hard for me to do that, and it was like trying to force me to go back to the dream, and then a voice just said, stop fighting the dream. Which is kind of what happened here, which is like when I got lucid and I was like, ooh, fun, let's go fuck around. I started flying, and then the dream at first was like, okay, I'm gonna make seem like this is the wrong direction. Like, I knew that if I was flying towards Seattle, I should have hit the lake, but it just was like endless forest forever below me. And so like that was the first thought I had, but I was still going in that direction. And then the voice like called me back to the area where the dream was happening.
She's still going out of bounds. Olivia.
Yeah. That's so weird. Oh my God.
Well, and we've talked about how like you getting lucid and then flying away has been a way to like fully nope out of anything that you don't want to deal with in your dreams. Like
That's
you
true.
were really consistently doing that for a while.
For like my whole life. Yeah.
So it's like your subconscious is somehow like it's trying to rewrite the rules here where it can rein you in and actually teach you what it's trying to teach you.
Because you must have like internalized the notion that you should stay on track in a dream, or that your subconscious is trying to tell you something.
Yeah. I
So
do
now
believe
it's
that
literally
now.
telling you something.
That's so cool. That's very cool. I don't know. I thought we were just fucking around, guys, but dreams are interesting. There's stuff happening there.
Yeah, and it's weird to think about that dynamic. Just the subconscious guiding it the whole time. That makes sense to me. Just like letting go, like your conscious mind letting go of the reins and your subconscious running wild and painting these vivid symbolic images. But then to become lucid and struggle with the things you consciously know about the dreams, the things that you've learned about dreams that you've sublimated. It's very meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And layered and self. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Yeah. It's funny because like I haven't really been like much of a lucid dreamer. Like I've always kind of had little moments of lucidity, and I've always like flown a lot in dreams, and that has made me vaguely lucid. But like I've started having like real strong moments of lucidity, and my subconscious is like, no, stop, chill the fuck out. Don't go do that. We're doing important work here. You've got business to attend to.
You have to watch Victor shit himself.
Thank you for listening to The Young and the Restless.
You can follow us on social media at The Young and the Restless Pod and submit your dreams for interpretation to thejungandtherestlesspod at gmail.
And as we always say,
Burps
is just mouth farts.
Get you a tiger lily on the moon, and maybe someday we could go there together. For now the clock is screaming, welcome home. Dream forever, dream forever.
What is it again?
Farts is just mouth burps. Wait.
Farts is
Burps
just-
is just mouth farts.
Farts is just mouth burps. Farts is just butt burps.
Burps is just mouth farts.
Farts is just butt burps. That's funnier.